Elvanto is really customizable, so you can do a lot of things with it. It charges based on the number of parishioners you have or people you have in your database.
So it seems to do a really great job of providing different places to store your data, to compare your data, to bring things together. And I think that that can be a really powerful tool for churches.
You can use it for things like rosters, for service planning. It has the option for parishioners to log in themselves, so they can change their availability and check rosters and do all that kind of stuff, gives them more agency. You can also do things like setting up forms, so you can have people fill in different forms for events or things like that, that then connects straight back into your database, so everything's in the one place together. What I don't like is sometimes it can be quite tricky to learn. So because it is very customizable, that can actually mean, it means that it's not as straightforward to use.
I found that it's not particularly intuitive sometimes, and especially when you're working with people in churches who maybe aren't so tech savvy. I really like Planning Centre. I love that it's very visually appealing. So when you're planning things, when you're rostering people, it looks really nice and it's really easy to see what you're doing clearly. And it's also really easy to pull data from. So I love that as well. Lots of custom reporting, everything is connected. So within Planning Centre, there's different modules you can add. They all talk to each other really well. And I feel like it helps give you a really clear picture of what's happening with your church. I feel like there was a learning curve that took me a while to get around, especially because there are different modules and they are all linked sometimes, where you'd think something was actually in a different module, or if you weren't paying for that module, you didn't have access to that. So I think that's something I don't love about it. It's also one of the pricier ones out there, and it is US based. So sometimes there's a bit of a slower turnaround if you need tech support. And if you do want to be using the full suite of programs, especially with a large church, it can be quite costly. But I do think that the tools it has are worth it usually. Like they make a huge difference to being able to see clearly what's happening in your church.
ChurchSuite is really great because you can choose which module you actually want to use depending on your church's needs. So it's you don't have to pay for a full big database if you only want certain aspects of it. That's a way to keep costs down. I really like the way that it integrates things like events and the calendars and your newsletters and everything in one place. I find that you can create it to be your single source of information for your parishioners to make it really easy for them to find out what's going on, and both in churches for things like rosters and service planning, but also outside for events.
Perhaps it's not as flexible as some of the other tools out there maybe.